Today's video is going to be a little different. Usually I choose one topic, we go deep, we explore, we connect. But over the last few weeks, my inbox has been full of your questions. So many thoughtful, intimate, and beautifully honest messages that I couldn't just pick one. So today I decided to bring them all together. This is a special members-only video, made from your voices, your curiosity, and the quiet questions that so many women share but rarely say out loud. Some of these questions came in the comments, others through private messages. Questions from members who were brave enough to ask what many women only think about in silence. And I want you to know something. If you sent in a question, keep watching, because your question might be in this video. But even if you didn't, watching this video will give your answers to questions that were silently in your head. Every single question and answer you're about to hear will speak to something inside you, a thought you've had quietly, a feeling you couldn't quite explain. Stay with me until the end, because the last question is the most personal of all. This is not a medical lecture, this is a real, raw conversation about the body, the mind, and the woman you still are, no matter your age. And if you're not a member yet, become one. You'll get access to more private videos like this, where we can go deeper, more personally, and maybe in the next Q&A, I will answer your question. Always possible to ask anonymously. Now, let's begin. I got a question from Nancy, and I thought it was such a good one. She said, sometimes when I feel a bit itchy or tingly down there, it actually turns into arousal instead of discomfort. Is that normal, or could it mean something's wrong? And I know many of you wonder about this, where that line is between sensitivity, dryness, and real irritation. My answer to this question is, yes, this can be completely normal, but it depends on the context of the sensation. The vulva and vagina are filled with nerve endings, so sometimes what begins as a slight itch or tingle can activate the same nerves that are involved in arousal. However, if that sensation turns painful, comes with burning, dryness, or changes in discharge, it could signal irritation, a pH imbalance, or even a mild infection. The key is to learn your body's signals. Gentle tingling linked to warmth or pleasure is typically fine, persistent itchiness or discomfort is not. If you want to understand more about how to tell the difference between irritation and arousal, I recommend watching my video on vaginal sensitivity. It goes much deeper into this topic. One message that truly stayed with me came from a woman I treated a few years ago. I can't share her real name for privacy reasons, but let's call her Sarah. Sarah struggled deeply with vaginal dryness and pain during intimacy. For months she thought it was simply part of aging. She once asked me, "How do I tell my husband that it's not him, it's just my body?" And that conversation changed how I speak about this topic forever. Because it reminded me that intimate health isn't just medical, it's emotional, relational, human. My reflection on this question is, so many women silently carry this same worry. They fear their partner will take their discomfort personally, but dryness, pain, or lower libido are not about attraction, they're about biology. The drop in estrogen after menopause can thin and dry the vaginal tissue, making intimacy feel painful instead of pleasurable. The most healing step is open communication, explaining that it's not rejection, it's recovery. There are wonderful treatments and moisturizers that can restore comfort and pleasure. But even more importantly, empathy and patience from both partners rebuild trust and connection. Then Georgia wrote to me after watching one of our members-only videos on pleasure and fantasy. She said, "Is fantasizing something that actually helps the body respond better, or is it mostly in the mind? Sometimes I feel a bit guilty when my thoughts drift, even though it helps me relax." And I love that she asked this, because this is such an honest part of female sexuality that we rarely talk about. My answer to this question is, fantasizing is not only normal, it's healthy. The brain is our largest sexual organ, and fantasy is one of the most natural ways to awaken arousal and relaxation. When we imagine, we activate the same areas of the brain that respond during physical intimacy. For many women, especially after 60, fantasy helps bridge the gap between body and mind. It's a way of reminding the body that pleasure is safe, welcome, and possible, and guilt has no place in that. There's a beautiful video on my channel about mental stimulation and sexual energy that dives deeper into this if you'd like to explore it more. I also received a message from Diana, who watched the video where we talked about lubrication and vaginal moisturizers, She said, "What's the best kind of lubricant for women our age?" I've tried a few, but some burn or feel sticky. Are there natural things at home, like coconut or olive oil, that are actually safe to use? And that's such a practical, important question because comfort really matters. Here's my answer. Not all lubricants are created equal, especially for mature skin. The vaginal tissue after menopause becomes thinner and more sensitive, so choosing gentle pH-balanced water or silicone-based options is key. Avoid anything with fragrance, glycerin, or warming chemicals. These often cause that burning sensation. As for natural oils, yes, coconut or olive oil can work beautifully for external massage or self-touch, but not with condoms and not if you're prone to infections. The safest path is to keep the area moisturized, not just lubricated during intimacy. There is a vaginal moisturizer linked in the description. Also, there is a video on lubricants on my channel. If you're interested in which one is the best for you, I would recommend you to check it out. Then Bren reached out after my video on rediscovering touch. She said, "I tried one of the slower techniques you mentioned, and it felt completely different, deeper, calmer, more connected. Are there more of those kinds of techniques you recommend for women our age?" I just smiled reading that, because yes, that's exactly what this journey is about, learning our bodies again. My answer to this question is, absolutely. As we age, our bodies often prefer presence over speed. Techniques that emphasize slowness, circular touch, breathing in rhythm with sensation, using warm oil or gentle pressure can activate the deeper layers of pleasure and relaxation. These methods aren't about performance, but connection. When the body feels safe and unhurried, arousal naturally returns. There are multiple full videos on my channel about self-pleasure or fingering. Kindly check it out if you want to know the best techniques. I also got a very personal message sent to me privately. She didn't want her name mentioned, but she asked something that I know many women wonder about. She said, "I can still get aroused, but reaching orgasm has become harder. It feels like my body starts but then just stops. Is that physical, or is it in my head?" And I want to thank her for trusting me with that, because it's such a common and tender question. My response to this question is, it's often both physical and psychological. After menopause, blood flow to the genitals decreases, making it harder to reach the same intensity as before. At the same time, mental distractions, self-consciousness, overthinking, frustration can block the final release. Think of it as the body needing a little more warm-up time and the mind needing a little less pressure. Regular pelvic floor exercises, self-touch without goal, and deeper breathing can help reconnect those pathways. Pleasure isn't lost, it just asks for patience and curiosity again. Another private message came in from Elaine, who's been part of this community from the very beginning. She said, "I used to feel sexy, I used to love my body, but now when I look in the mirror, I see someone completely different, and that feeling just disappears. How can I reconnect with that part of myself again?" And I know that one hit home for a lot of you. It's not just about hormones, it's about identity, confidence, and softness with ourselves. My answer to this question is, feeling sexy is not about youth, it's about energy. The challenge is that our reflection changes faster than our self-image does. What helps most is rebuilding sensuality through ownership, wearing fabrics that feel soft on the skin, moving your body to music, nurturing your appearance not for others, but for yourself, touching yourself with kindness, speaking gently to the mirror, even applying oil or lotion as an act of appreciation. These rituals rebuild that lost spark. Desire for yourself always comes before desire from others. And then, a beautiful message from Diana, who wrote to me after she saw the video about washing your intimate parts. She said she showers every day, sometimes even twice, but still notices a strong smell down there, even when she feels clean. And then she asked, could I be overwashing? Or maybe eating certain foods that cause it? Or is it just part of post-menopausal changes that I can't control? Such a heartfelt and honest question, and one I think so many women silently relate to. My answer to this question is, overwashing is actually one of the most common causes of odor and irritation. The vulva has its own delicate ecosystem, natural bacteria and oils that protect against infection. When we use soap too often, or inside the vagina, we strip away that protection. The result? More odor, not less. The best routine is simple: wash the vulva, not the vagina. Once a day with warm water, or a pH-balanced intimate wash, and avoid fragrances. Foods like garlic, coffee, or strong spices can also influence scent slightly, but balance and hydration usually fix that. I have a full video on hygiene and another video on foods to eat that will make your vagina smell. If you'd like a deeper breakdown of what to do and what not to do. And finally, I got another private message, this one even more direct, and I appreciated that honesty so much. She asked me, how do I get horny again after 60? I just don't feel that spark anymore. And I could feel how brave that question was, because it's one that lives quietly in so many women's hearts. Desire doesn't disappear, it just changes shape, and sometimes it needs a little invitation back into the room. My answer to this question is, desire is like a flame. It doesn't go out, but it can burn low when it's not given air. After 60, arousal becomes less about spontaneous lust and more about responsive desire. That means it often follows touch, connection, or fantasy rather than appearing first. The best way to rekindle it is to start small. Create moments of relaxation, curiosity, warmth, and sensuality in everyday life. The body follows where the mind feels safe to go. And if you'd like to explore this more deeply, my video on reigniting desire after menopause walks you through gentle ways to bring that spark back. Thank you for being here, for your honesty, your openness, and your courage to keep learning about yourself. This community is proof that it's never too late to feel alive in your body again. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.